Okay, so today we're going to be doing a sort of tryout of some new makeup that I've just bought. It's called Makeup or Breakup, and it's a completely vegan pigment powder. So I'm just going to put my hair out of the way now. I haven't got loads of it, but make sure it's not in your face if you have got loads. I'm looking confused at the moment. I don't quite know what's going on. There we go. Okay, we're good. So I like to start by using a really high factor sunscreen. So I'm just going to put that all over my face. Make sure that you're putting it anywhere the sun is going to reach as well. So on your décolletage area, on your ears as well. Anywhere that might see the sun. Okay, then clean your hands obviously. Next up is some concealer, so put that anywhere you've got some spots. I am a trained piercer as well, so you might see I change my piercings out quite a lot if they're looking a bit sad. So I've just put some concealer on top of the piercing scar there. Okay, so you can use either your fingers or a concealer brush to blend that in, it's up to you. Just depends what works best for your skin. Next we've got the Pro Base from MUA. It's just a medium coverage foundation. We're going to put that on using a kabuki brush. So just give it a little bit of a tap so you don't have powder everywhere. Okay, next up is the white powder. We can't be goth without white powder. Do make sure that you're putting this powder everywhere you're going to see. You don't want just a white face and then sort of different coloured ears or different coloured collarbones, etc. So same as before, just press it into the skin. We're going for a sort of medium coverage here. I'm not trying to make myself look super duper pale. I am naturally quite pale anyway, so it doesn't take too much. Next up is best thing in the world. This is Revolution Fixing Spray. So you just spray this on top of your makeup and it makes sure it doesn't go anywhere. Now the next part is not optional. You must flap your hands around like a crazy person in order to dry the fixing spray. Okay, right, now is the fun part. So I've decided, after playing about with the pigments, to use some facial moisturiser and the MUOBU, I think, pigment, and mix those together to create a sort of paint. So what I'm doing now is I'm just making my initial line. This doesn't have to be neat at this point, as you can see, just to give you a kind of an idea where you're going with it. So once you've worked out where you want your line to be, just start filling in. This can change over time, so if you go a bit wrong, don't worry about it. I find whenever I start doing a look, I have a sort of basic idea in my head and then I just build from there. This pigment was quite nice to work with, especially after I mixed it with the moisturiser. Went on really, really easily, as you can see. So I decided to use some straight powder here just to see how it would look. As you can see, it doesn't give as quick coverage as mixing it with a liquid does, but it is still quite good, especially for blending out lines to make them look a bit less harsh. So I thought I'd try the red out here. My plan being that in a little bit I want to blend it down onto the face. So I thought if I just build it up really slowly, we can see how it works. Okay, so blend, blend, blend. So we'll just bring some of that red down onto the cheekbone now. Now it's up to you what you want to do your blending with. I find it is sometimes easier just to use your finger. So now we've gone back in with the liquid pigment that I made earlier, just to neaten up some of those areas on the eye. And you'll find that in real life this just looks solid black, but obviously the camera does pick up those areas of light. Now we fast forwarded a little bit here because I was out of shot when I was doing my other eye, and I thought there's no point in you guys looking at my forehead. So we're basically doing the same on the other eye. I'm looking a little bit like Batman right now, which, you know, isn't a bad look. So I find when you're doing these kinds of looks, it's best not to get head up on making it exactly the same, because it's never going to be 100% identical. It's best to just focus on the overall look and go from there, really. So I'm just using my finger to blend that out. It's super, super pigmented, as you can see from my finger there. 9 times out of 10, I will prefer to use my hands to do my makeup, just as that's how I learnt when I was younger, before the days of being able to afford makeup brushes and things like that. So don't think necessarily if you don't have loads of fancy stuff you can't do makeup. That's, you know, that's not true. Just work with what you've got. So I'm just blending that down further onto the cheekbone now. So I found these pigments really quite nice to blend with, especially after mixing them up with the moisturiser as well. So they had quite nice staying power as well. Once you put them there, they didn't tend to move around, which was quite nice. I think if you do want one that you can blend a little bit more, maybe just use them as they are intended, as just the powder. But I like that I got this kind of smudgy, almost war paint sort of effect from blending them with the moisturiser. So I'm just using my brush here just to get a sharper edge. So we're just going back in with the moisturiser and pigment mix, just to fill in any areas where I can see there is less pigment than other areas. Again, this is up to you. I'm just quite OCD about making things match. Okay, so now I'm going back onto my lips, which I have just cleaned, with some concealer, just to more closely resemble my skin tone, just so we can make those eyes the standout point of the makeup rather than the lips. So you can't see what I'm doing now because I am silly, but I'm just drawing a line first off with the moisturiser pigment mix on my chin there, as you can see, and I did then go back in with a liquid eyeliner just to neaten that up a little bit. the liquid eyeliner is the one that I normally use for my eyebrows and is by Barry M. So now we're going back in with a fixing spray. And now I thought I'd try out one of the other pigments from the same brand. This is a beautiful kind of silvery pigment, which I initially got to use in the corners of my eyes. So I'm just putting a little bit on the Cupid's bow and a tiny bit on the lips. And that is it. So we're going to take out all the pins, mess up the hair, maybe not that much. And that is the finished look, guys. It's supposed to look a little bit tribally, a little bit like I'm going into a goth battle. I hope you guys have enjoyed this look. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. And thanks for watching.